Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. This is Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Clayton, and also I'm on Uneducated Network, both channels on YouTube, Uneducated Network, and Uneducated Sports Talk. Please like and subscribe to both channels. Now, we're finished with week 2. We're on to week 3. Let's give a recap of our NFL week 2. Look, the pickers we had for last week, we went 7-8-1. And guess what? This week was no different. We didn't do any worse. We didn't do any good. We stayed the same record, literally the same record from last week. It tells you how diverse and how strange this NFL week is going on. We went 7-8-1 last week. Guess what? I went 7-8-1 this week. Let's recap all our games. Starting off with our Thursday night game, the Ravens at the Bengals. Now the Bengals have been surprisingly a really, really good team so far this year, and I picked them to go 5-11. I thought it'd be a down year, but Marvin Lewis, he knows how to get his defense prepared. I understand that. The Ravens, what a difference a week makes. The Ravens just completely shut down the Bills, who are considerably the worst team in the NFL right now. So it's kind of obvious now that we see what's going on in Bills land. And the Bengals coming into their beating the Colts in week 1, comeback victory, and now beat the Ravens 34-23. A.J. Green, 3 touchdowns. He was amazing in the first half. And their run game and their defense completely overwhelmed the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm really excited about this Bengals team now, but Joe Mixon is out for a couple weeks, so maybe things kind of change. If you have Giovanni Bernard in your fantasy, pick him up. The Ravens defense was really, really great to very, very bad, so hopefully they can change things coming next week. The Chiefs at the Steelers, which was going to be a primetime game for the morning crew, and it served to be a really, really good game. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Mahomes is real, and he is ready, and he is the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not 1, not 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6 passing touchdowns for the young star from Texas Tech. This guy here can sling the rock, and when you have weapons like Tyreek Hill, and you have Travis Kelce, and now you got Sammy Watkins involved with 6 catches for 100 yards, you have something going on with that offense. And Kareem Hunt, who arguably could have been the offensive rookie of the year last year. So this team has something going on. The Steelers, and so much disarray is going on with this team now. They haven't had a victory the first 2 games. They're 0-1-1. So the Steelers have to change things up. We know the Antonio Brown situation, what's going on with him. Look, media is media. You can't let every single thing in media, mess you up, because people talk trash all day, every day. So if Antonio Brown wants to really leave Pittsburgh, if I'm Pittsburgh, you want to play those kind of games, you want to miss practice and maybe miss games, how about we just trade your ass to Buffalo? How would you like that? Then we'll see if you're really good without Ben Roethlisberger. No, Antonio Brown, stay in your lane, dog. You're doing very well with Pittsburgh. Stay in Pittsburgh. It's a winning organization. But as of right now, Le'Veon Bell being gone, Brown having issues. Man, Roethlisberger had issues in the beginning of a training camp with the Mason Rudolph pick they had. So, I mean, a lot of things going on in Pittsburgh. It's not a pretty place to be in right now. But they lose 37-42, and the Chiefs are 2-0, and they look like they're going to be dynamic on offense all year long. Next game, Dogs at the Jets. I had the Jets winning this game. I felt like Sam Darnold's first home game. People are going to be excited about that, and he was okay. Threw for 300 yards. But they lose to the Dolphins 20-12. The Dolphins have been playing great defense as of so far in the first 2 weeks by stifling the Titans and stifling the Jets. Now, those 2 teams aren't the biggest juggernauts in the world who are going to score points to you, but nonetheless, you got to beat those kind of games. You got to win those games. So the Dolphins win those games, and they win 20-12 off of some stellar play from Ryan Tannehill, who did his thing. So I'm very excited about this Dolphins team as well as the Bengals. If they play defense in this the poor AFC, I think they have a chance to make it to the wild card spot, maybe. The upset of the week for most people like myself, the Buccaneers defeat the Eagles 27-21. As a Saints fan, I don't feel as bad anymore because Ryan Fitzpatrick is for real, ladies and gentlemen. He is for real. And he is out there torturing not only the Saints, but he tortured the Eagles defense. Over 400 yards in both games passing. He has 9 touchdown passes to 1 interception to start the season off for the first 2 games. This guy is going crazy, and he looks like he is 35 years young. So the Eagles came out there, and they're having issues with Nick Foles. Even though he threw for 300 yards, but their offense just isn't the same. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Eagles fans, Carson Wentz will be back. He will be the starter for Week 3 against the Colts, so no worry about that. And he looks good. So I'm very excited to see Carson Wentz back in action as well. But this Buccaneers team is showing that they might be for real. They played Monday Night Football against Steelers at home. Now all of a sudden that's a big game because of what's going on in Pittsburgh Nation. And now the Buccaneers are rising up. And if he has another great game, Jameis Winston is back for week 4. But guess what? Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't losing that starting job. I can bank that right now. But the game that had me shaking my head was the Saints. The Browns come into New Orleans, and for some reason the Browns always play the Saints tough. And they win a lot of games against New Orleans. 2011 was probably the Saints' greatest team, in my opinion. They didn't win anything. But 2011 was a great team. They actually lost to the Browns in New Orleans in that year, and after that, won them winning like 8 in a row. But the Browns come to play against Saints every single time. But 21-18, the Saints win, and us Saints fans, count your blessings, because Zane Gonzalez, the kicker for the Browns, who probably won't be on the team anymore, he has a growing issue. Right? But he missed 2 extra points, I believe 2 field goals, and he was the main reason why the Saints won this game. Without him, the Saints could be looking at 0-2. So nothing to be happy about as a Saints fan besides a win is a win if you're a Saints fan. A win is a win. Get it how you can. But they have a lot of things they need to work on. And the Browns are this close to actually doing some things. They're this close. They're a kicker away basically from being 2-0 pretty much, man. So this Browns team has me very geeked up. I think they have a really good year. After this, you had to start off kind of slow. We'll find out about these guys later on. But the Saints shouldn't be in these kind of games with the Browns. And if you're going to go down swinging like they did with the Buccaneers and score 40 points, that kind of stuff. Their offense looked so good last week compared to this week. They struggled. But, hey, it's the beginning of the year. You can fix those issues going on. Also, we had the coach at the Redskins. We had the Redskins winning this game, and it didn't go down like that. The Redskins is all about red zone for both these teams. The Colts capitalized on it with Luck only thrown for 179 yards. I mean, he threw for nothing, but they capitalized in the red zone, in which the Redskins did not. They only kicked field goals while the Colts make touchdowns. Trust me, those 7s and those 3s, they add up. 7 times 3, 21. 3 times 3, 9. So 21-9, that's what really went down in this game. Redskins show that they don't have any big playmakers as of last year. That's the reason why Kirk Cousins is kind of flourishing now with the Vikings. But Alex Smith is more the dink and dunk type, but there's no one like a Tyreek Hill to take it over the top. So they have to find a way to get more points and get more creative. If not, they'll be struggling like this pretty much every single game. The first home game, and you can't score a touchdown, that's kind of tough for anybody. Colts win 21-9. They go 1-1, as do the Redskins go 1-1. The Chargers at the Bills, and the way the Bills are playing first home game of the season, I thought the Chargers would put up 50 points. I'm lying, though. But the Chargers do win 31-20 in a weird game. Vontae Davis, he's retired, and he retired at halftime for the Bills. So, I mean, you don't see things like that happen all the time. That is how bad this Bills team is. If he would have thought there was a way for them to make some kind of noise, if he was on a different kind of team, different kind of a hoopla going on, excitement for the team, there is no excitement for this team at all. They probably had the worst quarterback out of the star quarterback draft we had last year in Josh Allen, who had a QBR of 14 his first start, but he's just not ready. He's not. This team isn't ready to do anything. They're pretty much horrible. I feel bad for LaShawn McCoy, even though he's going through legal disputes right now, but as a football player, I feel horrible for him because this team pretty much sucks on all levels besides Tre'Davious White, who's a pretty good cornerback. But the Bills lose 20-31, and they might just go 0-16. Oh, yeah, good luck. You have the Vikings next week, too, if you're a Bills fan. When the Chargers had the Rams, so, I mean, pick your poison, right? But the Chargers did enough to, just do what you got to do. Gordon's involved, and Gordon is always great when he's involved, passing and receiving. Receiving and catching and running, and rushing. So, Phillip Rivers is going to always give you great numbers for fantasy. So, go Chargers, go. Vikings and the Packers, which is probably one of the most weird games outside of the Saints and the Browns and the other games. But the Vikings and the Packers, that is our overtime tie. 29-29, and you don't see overtime happening in back-to-back weeks a lot. You just don't. I think the last time it happened was 2 years ago, but outside of that, it does not happen at all. The Vikings and Packers tied 29, although the NFL has gone very soft because the Vikings should have lost this game. Let's just be real. The Vikings had a were the beneficiaries of a roughing the passer call, which I just don't understand. No, I'm still amused about this call. I'm kind of like, I'm baffled. I'm shocked. Clay Matthews gets a roughing the passer, it didn't look like anything horrible. It seemed like a very, teachable hit. It seemed like something relatable, something that the NFL thinks that is thumbs up, and the referees called it roughing the passer. And I understand you're trying to save the quarterbacks, but you're taking a part of the game away. And us fans don't like that. And if I'm a Vikings fan or a Packers fan, I don't want to spend my money over there on a tie game. The NFL bringing it from 15 to 10 has hurt themselves by doing that, by bringing it from 15 minutes to 10 minutes, because you basically only have one chance each, and after that, it's pretty much a tie, unless you're going for a crazy now. Guys that hit the field goals, think the game is over. Mason Crosby and that Carlson kid who is no longer there. Dan Bailey is now the new field goal kicker for the Minnesota Vikings, but the Vikings are all about win, Super Bowl, or bust. So they say if we can't have our kicker screwing things up, he's got to go. He's a youngster, but he's got to go. Dan Bailey, welcome to Minnesota. They tied 29. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good. Kirk Cousins was on a dime with Thielen and with Diggs. They just had this great chemistry already, so that's scary to see that happening. And the Packers are, it's Aaron Rodgers. What can you say about the guy? He's I think the best quarterback right now in the game. So 29, these teams will see each other again in the regular season and maybe in the playoffs. You never know. So, let's go with our next game, the Panthers at the Falcons. And the Falcons, look, it's kind of ugly, but a blessing in disguise with Devontae Freeman being out. Let's just be real. I think Tevin Coleman is a better back than Devontae Freeman. I really do. I think Tevin Coleman can start for any team in the NFL, period. And usually when he is the main feature back, that means Devontae Freeman's been hurt. He is the one that gets big plays. He's had either a touchdown or been over 100 yards in the 7 games. He's been the guy, So Freeman's going to put up some numbers, and the offense always looks good when they don't have to actually force Freeman and Coleman to be in a game together. Coleman looks good by himself. So I do like what they're doing in Atlanta. It made their offense a little more free-flowing. You got Calvin Ridley finally got involved with a touchdown, a couple catches, over 60 yards. Julio Jones, 60 yards is not his standards, but, they did just enough on offense and on defense. They stopped Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. But McCaffrey, if you're in PPR, you love what he did. 14 catches, 102 yards. But think about it, that's not a good average, 14 catches and 102 yards. That's a lot of dinking and dunking, let's just say that. But Panthers get their first loss, Falcons their first win. The NFC South is going to be wide open. Oh, by the way, the Buccaneers are your, leaders in the NFC South. Who would have thought that? Not me. Let's go ahead with the Texans and the Titans. This was a head scratch right here. Texans, first 2 games on the road, start off kind of slow. We know Deshaun Watson's got to get back to NFL speed. And he's getting there, and he will get there by the time the season is through. He will be very dominant, in my opinion. But the first 2 games in a row, the Titans come out there and basically take control of that to get their first victory. They ran the ball decently. Henry got more involved, 18 carries, but only 56 yards, but at least they had him involved. You had Marcus Mariota not being in the game. Blaine Gabbert was the starting quarterback. And who would have thought Blaine Gabbert would get a win in the NFL these days? I just didn't see it, especially over a really good Texas team, in my opinion. And the Texans should have won this game, but a lot of unforced errors went ahead. And, once Deshaun Watson and Hopkins get their field together, this team is going to be scary once again. Their defense is trying to get back with guys come back from injury like Watt and Merciless. So I think when it's all said and done, Houston will be fine. But as right now, the Titans have drawn first blood. They win 20-17. Cardinals and the Rams, look, it was better than I thought. I thought the Rams would win 40-10. But 34-0, it's a little bit more satisfying outside of you scoring 0. That means in 2 games, the Cardinals have scored 6 points and 0 points. That means they're averaging 3 points per game. This Cardinals offense looks horrible. I said it before, I was not going to touch David Johnson in fantasy because I don't trust this offense. I just don't trust this team. Bruce Arians is gone. You have a new offensive coordinator now. You have a new offensive style. And guys got to get into that thing. And David Johnson has to get back into a flow of things. And he can't get involved when you're in obvious pass situations every single time. It's just not going to happen. This team is horrible on offense. They're horrible. Not horrible, but they're pretty bad on defense, but they're very horrible on offense. Very, you kind of know what's going on with these guys. This is basically Larry Fitzgerald David Johnson a bust. And Larry Fitzgerald is, 48 years old, so Bob playing, but Larry Fitzgerald is still one of the best receivers in the game. But he had a hamstring issue, had to be out in the third quarter. Don't worry, the game was already blown out, so there's nothing to fear about with that. It was just bad. Rams are just looking really, really good. I'm surprised the Rams are this good so far. Now they played against the Raiders and the Cardinals, two in-depth teams, but they will face the Chargers, who are very balanced on offense. So we'll see about the real Rams this week. I'm very excited about that game next week. Rams win 34-0, 0 goose egg, nada. Lions at the 49ers, which is a very good game at 20 in. 49ers had a very comfortable lead going into this game. They had a comfortable lead in the game, And the Lions came roaring back, as we know Matt Stafford to do back, but it hasn't worked out for Matt over the last couple of years. His first, 4, 5, 6 years, he was a comeback kid. He's got like 40 comeback wins, something like that. It's just amazing how many comeback wins he has in his 10-year career. But this game was not for it. He came back, but it was too little, too late. He's got everyone involved. When you talk about Golden Tate, talk about Galloway, those guys got involved. But let's talk about the 49ers. Matt Breida, they finally found their running back. It's not Jared McKinnon, who got injured in preseason, but it's actually going to be Matt Breida, who looked good, 138 yards rushing. And if they get going, he's a fast guy. He's very quick, and he busted a 6-7-yard touchdown. He's actually your leader in rushing so far for the season. Will he keep it up? I doubt it, but now you have a sense of where you're going with your team. It was Alfred Morris and now it's Matt Breida. Now they kind of bridged that gap where Breida would get a lot more of the carries now. So fantasy owners, if you have Breida, if you don't have him, try and get him. If you have him, use him, because now he's going to get used a whole lot more. You know who's going to be the starting running back. 49ers win in their home debut, so everything's good for them. 30-27. The Lions still have a lot of answers on defense, and they don't have any answer on defense, no answer on offense. So we're going to find out what the Lions are really, really made of this Sunday night when they face the New England Patriots. So, we'll find out about that. Raiders at the Broncos. The Raiders had this game wrapped up, and then they just somehow lost it. They lose 19-20. It was bad. It was bad for the Raiders the way they lost. You felt bad for them the way they lost. But the Broncos, they're doing what they can to win the game, period. I don't care how ugly it is, how pretty it is. A win is a win. Like I said, as a Saints fan, a win is a win. Get it how you can get it. It was ugly, in my opinion, but a win is a win. And the Broncos, I think they like that kind of style. I think they'll feast off their style. They'll have a lot of games where it's close, because they're not a great offense. They're a good offense. They're not a great defense. They're a good defense. So they'll be in a lot of games. They will not blow anybody out, and they will not get blown out. And this team is going to be scary because they can squeak into a wild card. Start off 2-0 is very good for them. Now, granted, both games being at home, so now you got to start on the road schedule pretty soon. But you take advantage of your home games. The Broncos win 20-19, and now the Raiders are 0-2, and John Gruden has a lot to talk about. I think, personally, he should get the ball to Marshawn Lynch a whole lot more. I just think that a guy is averaging like 4 yards per carry, and he's just a beast. Give him the ball. So, our game of the week, the Patriots at the Jaguars. The Jaguars win 31-20. Now, I saw the Patriots win this game. And I thought the Jaguars had a chance to win, obviously, the Jaguars. But no Leonard Fournette, no problem. The Jaguars come in out the running game, but Blake Bortles in the passing game. He was hitting guys left and right, whether it was Keenan Cole, whether it was D.D. Westbrook. They were in control the whole entire game. Not only the time possession, but the fact that they made Tom Brady uncomfortable. And it was hot. Tom Brady, we know his weakness now. He doesn't play well when it's hot. It was 97 degrees at game start. At one point, it was about 105 if you added the humidity to it. So it was a tough game for Tom Brady. We all know his weakness. If you have a strong front four, like Jaguars do, you can get to Tom Brady. And my thing is, now they have the edge over the Patriots. Can the Jaguars actually get home field advantage? If they do, they might not lose a game. They're a pretty damn good team at home. And if their offense keeps clicking, I think Keelan Cole is a steal. If they can get Keelan Cole as their number one receiver, I think they'll have a really, really good chance of revamping this offense and then let Leonard Fournette take his time to come back and get that hamstring fully healed. Because when he comes back, then when you get in the fourth quarter, you have to worry about, not having the ball, because Leonard Fournette thrives in the fourth quarter and he will destroy people. So I'm very excited about this Jaguars team. I know that. I'm excited about a lot of things in the NFL, but the Jaguars, they could be scared of the AFC. If they get a home field advantage, watch out. Our Sunday night game, the Giants at the Cowboys, and we want to see Saquon Barkley versus the Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, and we were wondering what was going to go down, and both guys kind of didn't show up, to be honest. Let's just be real. They didn't really show up. This game was kind of sloppy on both ends, but we all know the Giants' offense, their line, their protection schemes are out of whack. The Cowboys blitz every single time, and there was no one to be picked up. And usually it wasn't a line problem. I think it was just a scheme problem from the Giants' end. But the Cowboys did what they had to do to win this game. Get on the board, get 1-1, and while the Giants are 0-2, you got to do what you got to do to win this game because the Eagles are there, and that's your competition. You want to stay with your competition. And the Cowboys did what they had to do to win. I had the Cowboys winning this game, and yes, they did win this game by a score of 20-13. Both offenses still have a lot to answer for. Although the Giants have all these names, but you can't get the names involved unless the no-names, the old linemen, help themselves out and protect your quarterback and your running back. Because if that's the case, Saquon Barkley will always just get catches. Right now, in between the tackles, he's struggling. Outside of that one big run he had for 68 yards in week 1 for a touchdown, outside of that, he hasn't had a big play yet, to a 15-yarder or 20-yarder. He just had that one big one. So we'll fight to find out. Giants have a lot of answers to questions on offense. Their defense is pretty decent, but their offense is horrible, and they got to change things up. Cowboys win 20-13. And Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks at the Khalil Mack. That's pretty much what happened. Chicago Bears have a new superstar in Khalil Mack, and this guy is a straight-up beast. I've never seen someone dominate back-to-back games the way he's done against the Packers and now against the Seahawks. And yes, I kind of figured with the Packers, with Aaron Rodgers being out for a little tiny bit of that game, and then with the Seahawks, who O-line just sucks, and Russell Wilson is always running for his life, this was a good game for Khalil Mack, and he's shown why he is worth all that money he got. 6 years, $141 million, like $100 million guaranteed. This is crazy. The guy's a beast. The guy is humble, and the guy loves football. I'd say that. He's come in and made an immediate impact for this Bears team, and now their defense went from, decent, really, to good to, man, they could be something special. So we're going to see about this Bears defense. They do win 24-17 Monday Night Football. Mitch Trubisky did have a lot of costly turnovers in the beginning, and both teams are going to kind of struggle on offense. Seattle, look, road games, back-to-back weeks, you don't win none. The good part is you go home against the Dallas Cowboys for a 3 o'clock afternoon game. So we're going to find out about the Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys next week. That's going to be very good. So we go 7-8-1, and once again, back-to-back weeks. But guess what? Once we start getting the feeling for this, we'll get right picks. I guarantee you guys, man. So check out my next episode. We're going to break down week 3 in our pick'em, so stay for that. And then watch out for tomorrow's episode. Thursday night, we'll have our college casual football talk hosted by myself and Brian Wilkinson. So stay tuned for that as well. This is Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton. As always, sports fans, you guys know what time it is. Stay smart, stay uneducated. Peace.